the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Hard to believe. Training camp practices are officially over as Cincinnati Bengals have a joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. Next thing they'll do is Thursday night, take on the Colts in the final preseason game. Dave Lapham was on hand today, and Lap, the first thing we have to talk about, Myles Murphy goes down with a leg injury, carted off. I shouldn't say carted off. I saw him walking, but then we took the cart back to the stadium.
Yeah, that one's unfortunate. Zach Taylor had no update. Don't know the extent of the injury, but you lose two offensive players, at the joint practice, and then a defensive player, the following week at joint practices, and you're thinking, man, is this the way we want to go? But it just happens. I mean, that's football, and I thought that they got other than that injury, obviously, which you never want to have any of that. I thought they really got a lot of good work in today, both teams. This was the second consecutive week of joint practices for both football teams. The Indianapolis Colts, they worked already against the Arizona Cardinals, and so you'd think, boy, having an idea of what you're looking at, the tempo should be pretty high, and it was. I thought the tempo was real high. I think that not only do the players and coaches benefit, but it's officiated. So the players are on point more. They dropped a few flags. The players did a pretty good job of making sure that that they were mentally into it. No false starts, putting their hand placement in the right places, and all that sort of thing, because the officials were there, and it's officiated by NFL crews, which is the highest level you can get. So you got officials getting quality reps, you got players getting quality reps, you have coaches, working basically like it would be in a game in terms of working with each other, deciding what to do next play and all that sort of thing. The Bengals, they had some familiarity, the players did, as to how it was going to unfold, because they ran the exact same script that they ran in the first joint practice in Chicago. It was exactly the same. The first period was base plays, and T. Higgins shined in that period. He made a couple of catches. The first play of that base period for the Bengals offense, I mean, he went up, man. He skied. He's 6'4" plus and can really get up, and he high pointed the football. Was incredible. Chase Brown, I thought, showed in that period as well. He made a couple of good plays. You won't believe this, Dave, but the Indianapolis Colts, they have a quarterback, mind you, Anthony Richardson, 6'4", 260 pounds. He came walking on the field, and I'm like, dang. I was standing with some Indianapolis Colts people. I'm like, this guy looks like an outside backer edge rush guy. I said, how much does he weigh? They got him in the program at like 240 something. They said 260. He's weighing 260, and he's still got some juice, man. I mean, this guy is a freakish athlete. And the thing that he's doing, though, he's still hesitant with reads. Joe Flacco is their backup quarterback, their insurance policy quarterback. They got him for like $5 million, and if he plays a lot, he's going to make a lot more than that. But he looked like more of an NFL quarterback, honestly. I mean, he makes quicker decisions with the football. He still spins it really well, comes out of his hand exceptionally well. And what you see Richardson doing is tucking it and running it, and it's like it's not tackle. We're not taking people to the ground here. It's like, he is going to really cause problems for people when he does do that at 6'4", 260. But I mean, the problem is that when he's done that in the past, he hasn't been this size. And I think in his mind, that's why he put on the additional size. He only took 140 snaps. He got hurt in the fourth game of his rookie year. And since high school, he's only played in 17 football games since high school because of injury, counting the NFL and college. So it's like, man. And I think that's why he's still hesitant with his reads and all that. But if he continues to run like that, he might continue to have some of the problems that he's continuing to have. So I thought that was interesting. In the next period was third down, and that's where Mike Gesicki showed up, Dave. Mike Gesicki had himself a hell of a joint practice, I thought. He made this one-handed catch, a back shoulder one-handed catch that was really impressive. And he was found by Joe Burrow over the middle of the football field another time. Um, you know, he was there. Third down. Then when they got to the red zone period, Gesicki showed up again, and the Bengals defense had their only turnover of the day. The ball was by Cam Taylor-Britt and intercepted by Logan Wilson, and that was down in the red zone. So third down and red zone is where Gesicki has made his bread and butter, and that's where he's going to make it. And Joe Burrow, who, by the way, probably completed over 80% of his passes on the day. He did have one interception that was on Joe Burrow-like, but a lot of his passes were short intermediate stuff. He was, taking what they were giving him kind of thing, and being very efficient that way. And then the second period was third down. The third period was red zone, like we talked about. And during that red zone period, Orlando Brown squared off with Isaiah Land, a defensive end with the Indianapolis Colts. Eric All squared off with a defensive player from Indianapolis. And I thought, all right, here we go. This is the third period. This is about when guys' tempers get short. And so they worked their way through that. And the fourth period, there was move the ball unscripted. And Drew Sample showed up a couple of times, a couple of catches. And he had a tight end trap that took a defensive end off his feet to the ground. I mean, he had a pancake block on a tight end drop when he was motioning across the backfield. And really the move the ball unscripted is that's when both quarterbacks for the Colts really started just tucking and run. They were making plays, and it's like, how do you judge what kind of a job was done there? And then the final period was the 2-minute period. First drive for the Bengals, they went 4 downs and out. Second period on 2-minute drill, they missed a field goal, and for the Indianapolis Colts on their first drive, Gay made a 62-yard field goal. I mean, all these kickers too. It's like the new norm is 55 yards. That's like the chip shot now. I mean, these guys are crushing it from big distances, and then they missed their last field goal attempt. So no touchdowns were scored in that 2-minute drill. And again, like you mentioned, Myles Murphy, that was a big deal, losing him during the course of the practice. So. The Colts are here. They traveled in yesterday. They stayed in the hotel last night, tonight, and then tomorrow night. They have a walkthrough practice the night before the game. They're going to go to dinner, Ruby's, the bonding period, and all that kind of thing. So they had a joint practice at home. Now they get a joint practice on the road. Bengals had a joint practice on the road. Now they get the joint practice at home. And I really do believe that at some point in time here, these joint practices are going to be they're going to be the norm. I think more and more teams are going to do multiple joint practices. It's different work periods because it's against different people, and it's another group, totally different strengths and weaknesses, totally different schematics. So you get back-to-back weeks of solid work. I think everybody in both teams' lineups will probably say, "Man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for that season opener. I've got a lot of work in the bank right now."
Lap, one thing I have to ask you about is Joe Burrow again out there with a glove a little bit, not all the time, just here and there. Is there a story behind now wearing the glove? We talked about in Chicago the weather, the elements and issues there. Is it just to get comfortable wearing it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it, but he also mentioned that when it's windy and a little bit cooler and it gets a little bit drier, he likes to have. It sounds like he likes to wear the glove just to keep his hand warm. Because a lot of guys will blow into their hand, a lot of guys will lick their fingers or whatever. I guess he likes to put a glove on, between series, between periods or whatever, just to kind of keep that hand warm. So, only Joe knows for sure why and how he's using that glove. But I did like the fact that at the very beginning of work, after they stretched, after warm-ups, Joe Burrow shook hands with all of his skill players, and they went right into their individual drills. And I mean, I think he was like, showing leadership. Let's go. Let's bring it. Let's get some energy rolling here. Let's perform at a high level. It was good to see Joe with that kind of a leadership aspect of it.
Dave, Lapham in the Trenches is brought to you by First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics is currently looking to hire freight agents. They are an asset-based company that provides 24/7 support unsaturated agent network, and the highest commission percentage in the industry. They also have over 30,000 pre-screened carriers. For more information, visit firststarlogistics.com/careers for all the information you'll need about possibly coming to one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati and a great place to work. Lap, let me ask you this. You talked about Joe Burrow going out, shaking the hands of the skill guys that he relies on. One of those guys is Ja'Marr Chase. And here a while back, it was thought, the Bengals may get this thing with Ja'Marr Chase done. But here we are 20 days out till the season opener. Sounds like right now it's just kind of Jamar's there. He's going through the motions and not doing anything on the field, just working on his own. Do you see this as something, we kind of went through this last year with Joe Burrow looking to get his new deal done. But he didn't have, didn't sit out any of that stuff. Do you think this is something that's going to get done prior to the season, or is this going to linger?
I think it can get done in one day. I think both sides are, Rocky Arsenault was in France for the Olympics, and he wasn't communicative at that point. With Joe and with other contracts where there have been prolonged holdouts, it's just, okay, this is enough time. Like they understand, if we understand Ja'Marr Chase needs time to get in football shape. We talk about football shape. That's a lot different than condition. This guy's never out of shape. He's in great condition. He's been going inside to the bubble and just running, 40s, 80s, 100s. I mean, just striding, working, running routes. And running routes against air is one thing. Running routes against a defensive player who's, jamming you and pushing you, and you got shoulder pads and helmet on and equipment and the push-pull. It's different than push-pull of the offensive and defensive alignment. There's a definite push-pull, and there's football conditioning. And, getting to the point now where, hey, going to have some time to do some football conditioning. There's no doubt that he's going to be able to handle it cardiovascularly. But a lot of the reps that the team has taken, the number ones, they have a 12-play drive. That's football conditioning. That 12-play drive they had for a touchdown. That's big. And all these snaps and reps that the number ones have taken in these joint practices. I mean, that's football conditioning, and they're all big. And Ja'Marr has missed them. Now, is that to say, oh man, he's going to be so far behind? No, he's a genetic freak. I mean, now it's getting close to that time. It's getting that close to the time where it's got to bubble up. I mean, all of a sudden one day it'll bubble up. Both sides will decide to get together, and a deal will get done. And I fully believe that if for some reason they don't get a deal done, I think Ja'Marr Chase would probably come in and play that season of football. So I don't think he's going to. I just don't see him sitting out a year, particularly having been around everybody for as long as he's been here. I mean, he's been here except for a day here or another day there. He's been here, like you said, taking the mental reps, talking to his teammates, on top of the conditioning and everything that he's done. Talking to the strength coaches, he's been in there putting on a show. I mean, he's in unbelievable shape in terms of his strength. So it's not like, Jamar's been taking tea breaks and, not, having crumpets and tea. It's not like that at all. I mean, he's been working pretty hard at it. And like we talked about before, he loves the game of football. And just when it looks like it's the darkest hour and totally bleak, boom, things bubble up and deals get done. And that's just the way it is in professional sports.
Lap, from all reports today, the defense had a good day. We talked about our post game when we talked about the Bears preseason game, but again, it was the Chicago Bears first teamers against the second and third teamers of the Bengals. Can't read too much into that, but it sounded like today that the first string defense really had a decent day.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that just about on a period by period basis. I think on the base defense base period of it. Of practice, I thought they stood up well. Third down, red zone. They're gonna, again, when you have a quarterback and tucking it and running it of the skill set of Richardson, it's like, okay, well, how do you judge where he was tackled, how he was tackled, all that sort of thing? I mean, they don't really, I kind of account for that because it's hands off the quarterback. So. like I said, though, at 6'4", 260, he's going to make some people pay when he decides to do that. But yeah, I thought defensively, I thought they handled things pretty well. I thought they did for the most part in Chicago as well. I think defensively they're getting the job done, and I do think from an offensive lineman standpoint, watching the offensive lineman, I think their pass protection has been very, very sound, and for the most part today it was as well. And Big Willie was here, like I said. Willie Anderson was here, and I've talked to him about it, and he observed pass rush as well, and he thought that that they are pass protecting it at a pretty high level. But man, got to continue to get the pad level down and get that run game going. It's going to be all important. There's no question about it. And as I'm watching, practice on a day-to-day basis, and then these joint practices and in preseason games, they are doing a really good job of marrying the run game with their play action game, and also getting Joe out of pocket protections that are getting him semi rolls, nakeds, boots. It's all put together pretty well. So I mean, it looks promising and encouraging. But like like we're saying, everybody in the National Football League, when their teams get off the bus, man, look at these guys. And then you talk to people, oh yeah, man, practices have been great. Everybody right now is undefeated and is looking to make the playoffs and advance to the Super Bowl. So like Zach kept saying in the presser that he had after the game, he had a brief presser talking about Myles Murphy's situation, and then he said we still got over a couple of weeks here, so still got a lot of work to do, but we have had good work put in. So I think they feel pretty good about where they are.
Reminder here, tomorrow, Wednesday, August 21st at noon, have lunch with Lapham as we live stream from the First Star Logistics Studios, taking your questions. So be sure to be with us on the YouTube channel, Dave Lapham in the Trenches, or the First Star Media Group YouTube channel. We'll be on both of those for you to watch and also participate in. Lap, I know it's going to be it's that time of year, but I had to bring up one of your favorite guys is celebrating a birthday, Anthony Munoz's birthday, and I'm sure you have nothing but great things to say about the Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not only a Hall of Fame player, and in my mind, I've said this many times, I think the greatest offensive lineman that ever played the game, that ever put pads on in the National Football League. Particularly at the tackle position. I mean, you want to say, okay, who's the greatest center, who's the greatest guard, who's the greatest tackle? I'm saying he's the greatest tackle, and I still think because of that position, he's the greatest. The difficulty of that position, he's the greatest lineman that ever played. But on top of that, and maybe even more remarkable is he's high caliber Hall of Fame person. What he's done with his foundation in the community is amazing, and the young people that he's helped get an education at the next level, and change their lives, and made an impact on society that way, the way he has, and just the way he conducts himself and comports himself on a day-to-day basis as a human being, as a husband, as a father, as a community member. I mean, he is one of one. He's the mold was broken. He's unique. That's Anthony Munoz.
You've been in the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button if you've not done so already. Also, like the videos we put out on In the Trenches with Dave Lapham. It helps us, the algorithm with YouTube, and grow the channel, continue to hit more people, and share, comment. Be part of the conversation of what we put out by making a comment. We do look at them and try to respond to as many as possible. Again, a reminder, Dave Lapham in the Trenches live stream at noon tomorrow, Wednesday, August 21st, leading up to Thursday night's final preseason game of the season. Lap, hard to believe, as I said earlier, 20 days, season opener, and a lot of excitement surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I think rightfully so, Dave. I think that I think this football team has a chance to be, amongst the best in the National Football League, and as players continue to not make it through practices and in a couple of cases out for the year, you just cross your fingers and say, I'm just hopefully the injury taboo does not get out of control, particularly with players that the Bengals just cannot afford to lose for an extended period of time, never mind the complete season. So that's always the big issue. That's always the biggest key. Stay healthy.
Lap, I have to say thank you. We've been doing these post-practice reports all during training camp. And I know that, it takes time out of your busy day as compared to what we normally do in the studios at First Star Logistics. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
I've enjoyed it, Dave. You're a pro's pro, and what you put up for in the trenches and everything else for First Star Logistics is top shelf. And keep up the good work, my man. You're as good as it gets.
Appreciate the kind words. Until next time, everybody. For Dave Lapham, this is Dave Burke. Hooday.
Hooday, Dave.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.